Hello everyone and welcome to the Dirty Side of the Grid podcast, where we've turned up late to qualifying and ended up on the dirty side of the grid. I'm Mohammed and this is my co-host Yusuf, and today we're doing a pre-Saudi episode for the first
Saudi
ever...
not Qatar?
Shut up, right. For the first ever Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. If I look a bit confused, it's because we've been filming for like 20 minutes now.
And we lost all the footage.
So it's a great start. Once again, we were...
2 episodes in a row, there's 2 episodes in a row.
Hopefully I look a little less depressed in this one. To be honest, I feel like I watched back the last one, I feel like I looked like I wanted to die for the whole thing. Not even after we switched rooms, just the whole time I looked so sad. Yusuf is also pretty smug because he's stolen my laptop off me, so I have none of my notes. So he's... As much as I'm talking now, he's going to be leading most of the episode, so we'll see where we end up and see what happens, really.
Thoughts on Saudi? Like the track, the layout, how do you think the race is going to go? All of that stuff, basically. Give us a rundown on your thoughts on the race, basically.
Okay, well, to start off with the track itself, they're constructing a street circuit, really, which is already a bit weird in itself.
It's just wrong, isn't it? It's like you're constructing a street circuit, which is supposed to be like you just put the barriers and you go race on the street, you know?
Like have you seen the pictures of Monaco? They have the curbs, like the painted curbs are there all year, which looks so cool.
But it's just wrong, isn't it? But I think they just want to give the aesthetic of a street circuit, but they don't actually want to have a street circuit.
Have you seen recently? Actually, someone took a picture of the track from their plane window, and it looked incredible. Like, it looked really good. Like, when you see the track layout drawn onto like just a plain background, that's how it looked, because obviously the one side is the Red Sea and the other's just like a couple lights of the city or whatever. But the track itself, the layout is so bright, it looks incredible. Like, it did look really good. Those are some good images. But in terms of the track,
high-speed track?
Very high speed, so it's going to be, I think the average speed will be the second highest on the calendar.
It's not a straight line. It's not like, say, Qatar, where you have that long straight or like stuff like that. But it's like you have corners, but they're flowing corners, so it's almost like, it reminds me a bit of Silverstone, where you're going to lift a bit off, but you're still pretty much going full throttle throughout the circuit.
Yeah, so like high G, but in terms of...
Monza's more out than... Silverstone. I'm thinking Silverstone the beginning, first few corners.
Yeah, or even the Silverstone S's nowadays. Like back in the day, there'd be like a couple downshifts and stuff, but now they just the first 3 are like
Lewis
flat.
Knocked Max out.
Not there afterwards. But we won't mention that. Actually, we will mention that later. Well, if you get down to my notes far enough.
Hopefully, Max wins the championship. You can see the disappointment on his face. Just like.
I don't know, part of me still thinks he will do.
No, but what are your thoughts on the track? Like, compared to, say, like, tracks... Because there are certain tracks on the calendar that you're like, why is that there? Like, for instance, Mexico, France, Monaco. Okay, no, I get Monaco. Like, qualifying is great. There's a lot of history there. So there is an argument for Monaco being there. There's no argument for Mexico being there. There's no argument for France being there. There's no argument for, like, Kota being there.
I feel like with those tracks where there's no, like, it's all politics, like, you can tell it's politics. Like, Russia is an awful track, but you know why they went there, it's because of the whole World Cup and stuff. And then Mexico, like, no one really likes the track, but first of all, it's historic-ish, and second, Perez, Mexican driver, brings a lot of fans and stuff. So it's always politics, like, whenever there's a bad race or bad whatever it is or stuff, it's always politics.
Usually because of this, isn't it?
So here, now, coming to...
Because
Saudi.
of politics, we have a street circuit that's not really a street circuit.
Not really a street circuit. Another night race that's going on the calendar, which, as much as night races are cool, it's kind of losing its thing now.
The only one that actually I really enjoy is Singapore.
Yeah. Singapore is so good.
But that's the thing, because Singapore is so hard to overtake, so you actually, like, they come close and there's this battle, but, like, Bahrain and Qatar, I feel like they remind me so much of each other. As in, like, I feel like it's this, like, it's not the same circuit, but like
They look the same.
it looks exactly the same. Like
Especially
this,
the outer. They look
yeah, like that long straight, the right hander. It just honestly, I thought I was watching, like, I was confused as a Qatar or Bahrain. I'm not even joking, but as in, it's so easy to overtake, and unless you're in the same car, like say Nico Lewis in, like, was it 2015, where they really went at it in Bahrain.
Oh, 14, yeah.
14, yeah. That was the only time I think you've actually watched it and you're like, you know, that was sick. Or maybe in Bahrain, like, this year, maximum.
Yeah, because normally something significant happens, like someone gets tipped over or like...
Yeah, but then someone, it's very easy to build up a gap and then just relax.
Yeah.
It's not really an exciting circuit. So, what do you think is going to happen?
With this one, I mean, so they're saying the slipstream will be powerful. With the circuit itself and it being high speed, I've read that it's very similar to Qatar in terms of the just how the cars will behave. So essentially, we had last week, Aston was performing well. Then who else was good?
Mercedes was very good.
Mercedes was strong, but specifically the midfield we had.
Alpine was very good.
Alpine, yes, that's what I was thinking of. Alpine were very strong.
Ferrari
was
Gasly and AlphaTauri were very good on, like, qualifying. Surprisingly, McLaren were bad.
Yeah, so McLaren were kind of struggling a little bit, but if they sort out their problems, they'll be in the fight. And then Gasly, if they can figure out what was wrong with his race pace, that's like all of the midfield teams, including Ferrari and McLaren, now in a tight battle, which would be very interesting, I'd say.
I don't think it's a tight battle. I think Ferrari have taken kind of like...
No, not in the championship, but if you take the race by itself, it's going to be...
Like, for McLaren to win, they need Ferrari to basically get a double DNF and they get, like, 4th and 5th.
I think if Ferrari outscore McLaren by, I think it's 13 points or something like that, they'll secure 3rd straight away. Like, they're in the...
You know, it's disappointing, isn't it? Because, like, McLaren were so far ahead, and because of because of Daniel, okay, let's...
No, but Lando's punctures as well has played a big part.
Yeah, but as in, like, it's not Lando's fault, that's what I'm saying.
No, they've just been very unlucky.
When he lost points, it's because he's unlucky. When Daniel lost points, it's because he's not showed up.
True. I mean, we can't take Qatar into this because of the fuel saving incident, but, like, in general...
Yeah, that was weird, I'm not going to lie. Like, why is he fuel saving?
But what do you think of the track, then?
The Saudi one? I'm really excited, because it's the first one on the, like, the calendar that is of this type, really. That's kind of... Like, the closest would be, like, Monza, maybe. But as in, Monza doesn't have nearly as many corners. And
yeah, it's the most corners on the calendar as well.
It has a lot of corners, but they're not corners where you're slowing down and going. It's like, basically you're going almost full out, or like you get 2, maybe 3 downshifts, and then you're all the way up. I don't think even that much, but I think it's going to be really exciting, in terms of like just the layout of the track, and like, you know, the onboard would be really nice. Like the onboard, one of the onboards I really enjoyed this year was Portugal. Because, you know, there's that.
Oh right, yeah.
The car goes up and it's going down, and the onboard there in Zandvoort was really, really nice.
They've got banking in these corners as well, actually.
Yeah, so
certain corners have nice banking there.
So that's one reason why I'm really excited for Saudi, is they've taken these elements of like what people would be excited for. Like, if I'm designing a really high speed track, like I want people to enjoy, I'm gonna put like long flowing corners, which Saudi has. I'm gonna put like bankings in. And they basically put all this stuff into one track.
That's what they did in Kota, isn't it? So like in Kota back in the day. No. So they did the big elevation change into turn 1, which gives Kota its like iconic look. Then they did the S section. They just stole from Silverstone and Suzuka, so they stole that bit. Then the twisting final last sector is also stolen. The long back straight was probably got off Abu Dhabi. Like, of course, you're just going to shove a long back straight in there. And then the final, like, double right, I think, is just a classic Tilke move that he puts on, like, Turkey and Russia. And, like, he just loves a long corner.
Russia's very boring. Worst tracks on the circuit. On the calendar.
It's just going to have to be France. It's so flat.
No, but I can't, like... I put Monaco, like... mid to low of like the table. Like if you have a table and I have to think really nice tracks that I enjoy watching, be Monza's at the top, Silverstone's at the top.
I love Suzuka. Suzuka's so good. I just like it. Spa as well.
Spa obviously. So Monza, Silverstone, Spa, Brazil, they're all at the top. I think those are like maybe the best circuits on the grid. The worst ones are. I'm not gonna put Monaco in there. I feel bad putting Monaco in there. But like
they're just ones with no character.
Mexico,
it's bad racing, but also
Mexico,
no
Russia, Kota, France.
Yeah.
What else is bad? I'm trying to think.
I don't know. You could Google the calendar if you really want to. I'm trying to think. So where do we go? So we start in Bahrain. Does Australia count? I feel like Australia's kind of mid tier.
Yeah, that's the thing. Australia is neither kind of like.
Where else do we go?
Absolutely great or really
Hockenheim.
I never liked Hockenheim, to be honest.
Really?
No.
I don't mind it.
That's the thing. Germany, I think they have much better racetracks than Hockenheim. Like, if you go into Germany, you want like the Nürburgring or like.
Yeah, Nürburgring.
You don't want like. Why is Hockenheim? Like, I don't get that.
I don't mind it.
So you've got Bahrain, like there were 2 this year. Imola is actually really nice. I really enjoyed watching Imola.
It's okay.
I put it in mid-tier. Portimao is really nice. The track there is really nice, especially because the car it goes up and the driver doesn't see where they're going and they have to take that left and it's a really nice track. Spain, I don't like.
Awful.
Spain.
You know they just signed a contract.
Yeah, to 2026.
Yeah.
At least it's a bit better. This is not. It's a bit better than the Valencia one that was like there a few years ago.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I remember because Fernando won his first race for Ferrari there.
That was his first race.
Monaco, like first race win for Ferrari.
Oh yeah.
Azerbaijan.
No, wait, hold on. No, it wouldn't have been.
It was.
Did he?
In Spain. I think his first win for Ferrari.
It must have been 2010 then.
Yeah. I think it's 2010. Yeah.
The one that stands out for me is when he won in 2012. I think he won from like 5th, and Vettel was meant to dominate that one.
Azerbaijan, really nice track. Actually, it always delivers because it's such a tight street circuit. So you always get like a safety car. You always get like an interesting race. Like it was really interesting this year with Lewis kind of ruining his own race. Austria's like
I like Austria.
Austria's kind of boring though.
No, I like Austria.
It's kind of boring though.
No, what do you mean?
Like that's the thing. The track is like, you know, if you get a child to design a track, design Austria.
No, it's not even designed though. It's nice. It's just there.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's a bad track. I'm saying it's a good track. But I'm saying as in like.
It's a bit short.
It's very short.
It is a bit short.
And like, I guess this year that's the reason I say it's boring because this year is boring. Max won by like 20 seconds, like.
Yeah,
and it was a triple header, so you didn't get any time for like improved performance. That's me, right?
Yeah.
Silverstone, incredible. I love Silverstone. Hungary is okay. Hungary always kind of delivers interesting races, even though the track layout is not maybe the best.
Yeah, surprisingly good for what it looks
like. Really good races. Like there was that one where Lewis won his first race for Mercedes there, when they weren't supposed to win at
2013.
Yeah. Belgium Spa, great race.
Yeah,
the Netherlands, surprisingly, but like Zandvoort is like, it's a really nice track.
It's a nice track, but I think the race was kind of boring.
No, the race is really boring, but I think that was hindered by qualifying because the track was very bad for qualifying, and so do you remember this? Like a lot of issues with like Mick Schumacher hit Sebastian and stuff. Or he ruined his lap?
I've basically forgotten everything.
I think it's a nice track though. Like maybe not.
It's a nice track. I wouldn't like.
I think the issue was Max was so far ahead, so it was a bit boring. But that could be said for like every single race over the past like 7 years because Lewis won like 20 seconds.
Yeah, you can't judge the track for that.
Yeah. What else? Then we have Italy, Monza. I think one of the best races on the grid. Russia, dead. Turkey, dead.
Dead recently. I like Turkey in general.
Dead. Mexico,
Turkey's a nice track.
See, this is the issue. From after Monza, it's just the next it's Russia. After Monza, it's Russia, Turkey, the U.S., Mexico, like 4 dead tracks like back to back. And then Brazil.
And Turkey.
That's the thing. Brazil is so iconic, and Brazil is actually like the track is so nice.
Should Brazil be the final race?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. I wasn't.
Like,
if we had to argue on that point, that would have been incredible.
It's not even a conversation. Like, I'm so disappointed that, like, to be fair, Abu Dhabi as a last race, I think is okay in terms of like maybe I'm interested to see how the race is this year, because they changed the layout of the track after people complained. But I think there's always like over the past few years, there's always kind of generally like a championship battle at the end. except like the few Lewis one outright. But that makes it interesting. When there's no battle at the end, it's such a boring racetrack.
Yeah, you want it to.
But
You want
that's
it to
the-
hold its own without the championship battle. Like, even if the championship has been won, you want to say, "Oh, I'm looking forward to the last race." 'Cause at least we get to
you
a
get that
Abu
with
Dhabi.
Brazil.
You do get that with Brazil.
You don't get that with Abu Dhabi. So maybe it's related to the weather, perhaps.
Potentially, but even then, it's just like
I don't.
It's just
I
there.
never liked the Abu Dhabi circuit. I'm hoping though, like with the changes they made this year, that is actually an interesting race.
There's potential. Yeah, there's definitely potential. But so back to Saudi, I'd say. I don't know. So it's the most corners, even though we've said they're not really corners. It's the fastest.
Second fastest track.
Well, second fastest track, the fastest street circuit, we'll call it. I'm just seeing DRS train written all over this, to be honest. Like long straights, DRS. I'm just seeing DRS train.
But then, like, if someone puts in a new engine, that just blasts by everyone. I guess it's determined a bit by the width of the track, because like, if you get like when you get like DRS trains, it was like Hungary, I think, if I remember correctly. But that was because the racetrack's so tight that you don't have like, you can't kind of send it down the inside or something because it's like so tight. But with Qatar, it was just not even Qatar. Like with the racetracks where it's a bit wider, it's a lot easier to kind of like, from that kind of DRS, make a move.
Yeah.
And not get stuck. I think with this one, it's going to be quite wide. It's not that wide, but
hopefully it is. You'd
but
assume so. But what it also needs is at the end of the straights, there needs to be a hard braking zone. If there's no hard braking zone, it's like a fifth gear corner. You're going to slow down, but you're not going to slow down enough for someone to be able to dive up.
But that's the thing. There are no like really slow like braking zones on the south.
Then all the passes are just going to be on the straight. Even though I read also like earlier that they're trying to not make it so that the overtakes are just dead and happen on the straights. They are trying to make the overtakes happen in the corners. It's just I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
We'll see.